welcome to the Giant pregame show. Tyler and Caroline here with you, and it's Edmonton Oilers taking on the Buffalo Sabres tonight, and also Canada Soccer taking on Costa Rica. There's a lot going on. Good energy here in Edmonton. Tyler, what's up?
Yeah, you're right. Like a chance tonight for Edmonton sports fans to see Connor McDavid in action for their team and Alphonso Davies in action on their home soil. Yeah. Welcome to, what did we dub it? The Tundra, I think is what Canada Soccer is calling it up here. It's a great sports day in Edmonton.
I can't wait. All right, let's talk about the recap against the Bruins. First of all, I'd like to make an apology for betting against the boys yesterday. For some reason, I think as a former Leafs fan, I have some PTSD towards the Bruins, and I wasn't extremely confident in the Oilers. What a game. The Oilers bounced back every single time they were down a goal. Yeah. Ended up ending the Boston Bruins 5-0 streak at home on home ice and absolutely killed it. The boys are 10-2-0 on the season right now.
Yeah, even though the Oilers were kind of behind a few times in that hockey game, I really thought front to back, that was one of the more complete games I've seen this team play. They had a lot of guys outside of McDavid and Draisaitl stepping up and coming through. Cody Ceci, even before he scored that goal at the end, which was the insurance marker, I thought that was his best game as an Oiler. He was jumping up in the rush. He was making some really, really smart plays with the puck on his stick, which is something he's struggled with a little bit at times so far this season. And then he makes a beautiful feed to Draisaitl to give him the lead. He scores a great goal as well, stuffing one into the empty net from the top of the circles. A great game from Cody Ceci. A bunch of really, really solid contributions from different parts of this Oilers lineup last night.
And also shout out to our own Jay, because he predicted the 5-3 win for the Oilers. So I don't know what Bagged Milk's dog is on and Jay, but they're psychic and they're predicting all of these magical moments for the Oilers. Let's talk about Draisaitl. Right now he's leading the league in points at 26 and goals with 12. What is there left to say about this guy? Like, he's on freaking fire.
I mean, he's cementing himself as the second best player in the world. And I've never been one to say that. I've always kind of said, it's closer between Matthews and Draisaitl than Oilers fans would have liked to admit. McKinnon's probably above Draisaitl, but right now, when you look around the league, Draisaitl's the second best player in the world next to Connor McDavid, and when you factor in what Draisaitl does on the defensive end of things as well, I mean, in the past 2 games alone, he's made some incredible back checks. Even in that Rangers comeback win, he was great defensively as well. He wins key draws for this team. He's out there killing 5-on-3s, and I mean, Brandon Carlo learned it the tough way. When he's in tight like that and he has a clear shot at the net, he doesn't miss very often, and that little snapshot Draisaitl has is one of the more lethal weapons around the NHL. I'm looking at his season so far, and in 12 games, he's had 7 games where he's had 3 or more points. I mean, most star players around the NHL don't do that over the course of 82 games. Like, the start this guy's off to, in his last 5 games, he's had 3+ points 4 times. That's just, you can't even, we've never seen anything like this production-wise. It's crazy.
You do know why this is happening, right?
I don't know where you're going with this.
Because he's a Scorpio and it's Scorpio season. So, he's just embracing the energy.
I was thirsty.
All right, Tyler, you mentioned Connor McDavid. What's it going to take for the best player in the league to finally earn the respect from the refs? This is the hottest trending topic on social media right now. Everyone can't believe the way the calls are going, or the fact that there are no calls. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted about it a little bit last night, and it's always that one thing. When I hit send on a tweet about McDavid and officiating, I know it's going to get the people fired up, and rightfully so. It's exhausting to have to keep talking about this, but again last night, you have a play. McDavid drives wide. Forbert's stick right in his skates. McDavid falls down. The ref is looking at it. Forbert looks up and stares at the ref like, oh, I'm getting one, and the ref just lets it go. It's absolutely insane. Then you have John Tortorella's comment saying McDavid should just shut up, and it's just, and Steve Greeley put it perfectly today on the Daily Faceoff show, which you can watch every day on Daily Faceoff, and he said why the league and why hockey culture has this thing where they want to bring McDavid down to everyone else makes no sense. We should want other players to be more like McDavid, not McDavid to be more like other players. And when you don't call things like this, and people are making great points in my mentions, it's not missed calls anymore. It's ignored calls. The refs are seeing this. They see the infraction happening. They're choosing not to call it. I mean, you're just bringing McDavid down to the rest of the pack, and that's a shame. That's bad for the game of hockey.
All I'll say is John Tortorella is a genius because he knew he'd blow up with that take, and here we are. Everyone's talking about him. He's also a big advocate of rescuing animals, so that's all I'll say on John Tortorella, and that I enjoy all of his hot takes.
We were also talking about people who nailed predictions. Bearded Brad yesterday in the Twitch chat said he was going to be doing 2 Neon Nation bombs last night, and he ended up doing 2 Neon Nation bombs with Draisaitl finding the back of the net twice. So shout out to Bearded Brad on that one.
That's awesome. Let's talk about Zach Hyman because everyone's talking about Zach Hyman. I swear to God, when this guy gets the puck, he only keeps momentum going and drives and drives. He's relentless. Is he truly that like missing puzzle piece that the Oilers needed?
Yeah, he feels like it. I mean, another really good game. That goal he scored was sweet, and it came on a shift where he had 2 or 3 other chances to score. Yeah, Hyman's just fit in like a glove, and it's just not surprising anymore. Like the first few games, I think there was a lot of Oilers fans who were like, whoa, we didn't expect this guy to fit in this well. Yeah. And now it's almost like you see him forechecking hard. He's wreaking havoc on the other team's D-men below the goal line. And he's not just a grinder. He's not just a support player. He's a legit impact guy, and he showed it with that goal he scored.
Some comments from Mike in the Twitter chat. What's up, Mikey? One of the most underrated things about Dry's game is that he's a low-key pest and can throw the body. He plays big boy hockey.
Yeah. Bang on.
And another comment from Team to Problems. The only guy who draws less penalties is Tyler in Beer League.
That's fair. Who said that one?
Team to Problems.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about Koskinen quickly as we recap against the Bruins. 26 saves on the night. Not a bad performance between the pipes. Thoughts on Koskinen?
Yeah, I'm just looking right now. The Oilers actually did a pretty good job for the most part of keeping Boston out of the dangerous scoring areas. The Oilers had 23 scoring chances. Boston had 14. High danger Corsi events were 11-6 in favor of Edmonton. So Koskinen didn't have to make a lot of quote unquote tough saves. And there's probably one of those goals that he really wants back. But down the stretch in the third period, when that game was tight, he came through with a couple of really key stops for the Oilers, including one that I don't even know how he kept it out on David Pasternak when, one of the NHL's best goal scorers had all the time in the world, and he couldn't beat Koskinen. So another night where, maybe Koskinen didn't have his best stuff, but he had enough in the tank to help the Oilers get the win, and he made enough stops for them to come away with 2 points. And really, at this point, that's all you can ask out of Mikko.
Absolutely agree. And just to finish everything off, a beautiful and emotional tribute to Colby Cave from the Boston Bruins organization. Thoughts on Colby Cave as an Edmonton Oiler when he played for them?
Yeah, it was a brief time for Colby in Edmonton. Obviously, tragic when he passed, but it is great to see that his memory still kind of lives on for the team. Dave Tippett was talking before the game about the plaque they have up in the room and how, every day guys on the team see that and think of Colby. So I thought it was a great tribute by the Bruins. It was great to see Emily out there dropping the puck as well, and then all the players kind of giving her a little bit of love after as well. So all in all, it was a great tribute, and hopefully this isn't the last one either. Hopefully we get a lot more opportunities to celebrate Colby.
All right, well said, Tyler. Okay, let's move on to the opposition report presented by Yeg Burger. Obviously, we know the boys are in Buffalo, taking on a Sabres team that is 5-5-2. The Sabres are on a 5-game losing streak, so they are desperate for a win tonight. What can we expect to see from the Sabres against the Oilers?
Yeah, it was a Sabres team that got off to this crazy hot start. Coach Granato had them playing a really, really solid system, and now they're starting to fall back to earth a little bit here. Like you said, they've lost 5 in a row. They've been losing to some teams that are, not exactly strong. They lost to Seattle. They lost to Detroit in that time as well. They're coming off a 5-3 loss to the Capitals on top of that. So they started the season so hot. They're regressing a little bit back to, closer to that point where we thought the Sabres would be. But I'll admit, they're not as bad as I thought they'd be at the start of the year. Granato gets a ton of credit for that. They got some really interesting bounce-back candidates in guys like Jeff Skinner and Kyle Okposo, who are having really, really strong seasons. Victor Olofsson, 5 goals. He's a guy who, he lit it up when Jack Eichel was centering him, and now he's showing that, it wasn't just some sort of Jack Eichel effect. He's a legitimately good goal scorer in this league, a guy who I think can get to that 30-35 goal mark on a pretty routine basis. So 71 in blue is one to keep an eye on, but for the most part, if we're talking about star power, firepower, this Sabres team really shouldn't have enough to keep up with the Oilers tonight.
Awesome. Okay, let's move on to the lineups presented by Deuce Vodka for the Buffalo Sabres.
Yes, shout out to Deuce Vodka. Let's dig into how the Sabres will line up in this one. That top line, like I said, I'm talking about my boy Victor Olofsson. Just waiting for my page to refresh here now. Olofsson, Actually not scheduled to be in the lineup tonight for the Sabres, but Tage Thompson was with Rasmus Asplund on the right side, Jeff Skinner on the left side, Cody Eakin with Okposo and Girgensons, Cousins, the workhorse from Whitehorse is what he was dubbed in his World Junior days, with Vinny Hinostroza, the former Blackhawk, and Drake Caggiula, the former Oiler, on the left side. The D pairings, we have a former Edmonton Oil King in Mark Pysyk on the right side with former #1 overall pick Rasmus Dahlin on the top pairing. And between the pipes tonight is Dustin Tokarski. And Tokarski's had a bit of a rough go as of late. Another guy who was a former Canadian World Junior standout, but Tokarski, a .310 goals against average on the year. And in his last 3 games, Caroline, he's allowed 13 goals. So definitely an opportunity for the Oilers to do some damage against a subpar goaltender.
Awesome. Great stuff, Tyler. And let's move on to our lineups for the good guys, the Edmonton Oilers. What can we expect tonight?
Not expecting a ton to change up front for the Oilers. McDavid, Hyman, Puljujarvi, Draisaitl, Nuge, and Yamamoto. The bottom 6, I wouldn't be stunned if we end up seeing Tyler Benson draw in at some point here. I didn't think Kyle Turris had a particularly good game up front, so it might make sense for maybe Turris comes out, Benson draws in. I didn't mind that fourth line, though, with McLeod, Sevier, and Perlini. So if Benson does draw in, I would assume it's going to be for Kyle Turris. And on the blue line, Slater Cuckoo took a couple of minor penalties last night. I wonder if that could lead to Cuckoo drawing out and Chris Russell getting another look in the lineup. But other than that, we're expecting it to stay the same, and it is going to be Stuart Skinner between the pipes for the Oilers. So we talked about that a little bit yesterday. Skinner's strong performance in Detroit earns him another start.
How do you feel about that?
I like it.
Okay.
And I was a guy, I mean, you know, on the show, I kind of said earlier, I wanted Koskinen, just ride Koskinen, just keep going with him. But now that we know Smith's out for a little bit, you do have to go to Skinner, and he's earned this next start. He was really, really good against Detroit. Take away the gaff behind the net, like we said, and that's a really solid game for any goalie. So I'm happy Skinner's getting another crack at it.
Bet of the game presented by PointsBet. What do we got? Where are you putting your money, Tyler?
Yeah, we're coming off a loss last night. Tyson Barrie did not manage to get a point, but that line on Barrie's holding strong at even money over half a point. We'll get to my bet of the game in a second. The Oilers are minus 180 favorites on the money line. They are plus 140 on the puck line, as you can see there, and minus 115 in regulation, which is an interesting number for me as well. The Oilers are a good team on the second nights of back-to-backs. They beat Vegas this year in this same situation, and last year they went 7-3 in the back half of back-to-back. So I like the Oilers to win this game. Skinner, maybe if he worries you a little bit, maybe you just look at taking the Oilers team total, and that's where I'm actually going with my bet of the game. The Oilers as a team to score over 3.5 goals, paying out minus 105. That is your bet of the game. I think the Oilers can get 4 on Dustin Tokarski.
Okay, today's Zodiac Report is on Cody Ceci because he played his best game in his Edmonton Oiler career last night against the Boston Bruins. He had 1 goal, 1 assist. And guys, we've never talked about a Sagittarius on the Zodiac Report. That is exactly what he is, which is definitely one of the best fire signs. So they are known to be passionate, optimistic, loyal, easygoing, and are known to have a sharp business and sports mentality. So there you go for Cody Ceci. Like I said, he's a fire sign. I'm sure he's feeling extra hot after last night's performance. Again, 1 goal, 1 assist on the night, 3 total points in the season so far, and I think he helps the Oilers right now get that back-to-back win that we are all so desperately wanting, and keep the Sabres losing streak going. We'd love to see that.
Over in the Facebook chat, Chadwick Thomas White 3 or 4 minutes ago said Oilers minus 1.5 tonight. He just asked the question, and he's in now, saying a minute ago, okay, I'm taking Oilers minus 1.5. I'm confident. Also, our boy Will said Turris looked lost again last night. Let's see what we have in Benson. Would still slide Perlini up, though, and that's interesting. I like that fourth line last game, so I'm not sure if I would break it up, but if that's the option and you got to go Benson on the fourth line, Perlini up to the third, I don't think that's a bad option because I agree with Will. I don't think Turris was very good last night. I see Brent is in agreement as well on the Facebook chat. Turris didn't look great. I think Tippett might make a change.
I'd also like to say something that we were down last night in the game, and then I tweeted that my crystals were out and in full force, and literally 19 seconds later, Evan Bouchard scored a goal. So believe believe in the magic. The crystals are real. They worked, in warp speed yesterday, and I'll make sure I have them out tonight for both the Oilers and Canada Soccer because Alphonso Davies is getting a hat trick tonight, everyone. Edmonton's own Alphonso Davies, who is the best left back in the entire world.
I like that prediction on the Davies. Giving some love to the Twitch chat here. Genesis says he's got to get some nation gear out in Ontario. Man, Gotta pick up one of these bad boys. This is my first day wearing this on the show. This
I
might be
want
my
one of these.
This might be my new favorite sweater, actually.
It's
pretty
nice.
sharp.
It's champion.
Yeah, it is champion. Bearded Brad says Lamborghini Perlini gonna score tonight. Book it. Electronic Jordan predicting a 7-2 Oilers win. Love the optimistic approach from Jordan. And Douster says, hey, look, it's Romper Boy. And if anyone wants an update on where we are, I think we're at $650.
Okay.
So $350 more. Here's if you don't know the backstory here, yesterday on the Real Life podcast, it was agreed upon that if the nation citizens raised $1,000 for the Edmonton Humane Society, I will wear a custom Oilers romper to our party on the 27th, which is at Campio Brewing. Tickets available, nationgear.ca. Basically, like a couple hours after the podcast, we were already at $400, and now we're up to $650. So if you make a donation to the Humane Society, find it on their website, send a screenshot to our boy Bagged Milk. He'll add you into the tally. If we raise $350 more, I will wear a custom romper to the season opening watch party.
Okay, shout out to Tyler Yaremchuk, guys. I know we're hard on him here all the time, but he's a champ. He will wear this male romper. He will make us all proud. And I think we're even going to the next level where if we get to a certain amount of money, we're going to get professional photos. You can get your own professional photo taken with Tyler at the brewing party in his romper, which I'm just so excited to see the whole thing come together, obviously for the best cause. And Tyler, you're champ. That's all I got to say. Champ.
Thank you, Caroline.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I've never even considered the thought of like a male romper.
Yeah.
Like I've never thought about what that would look like, but you'll pull it off. If anyone could, it's
well,
you.
You're about to find out what it looks like because I have a funny feeling nation citizens will come through on this one. And let's hope the Oilers, I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe going into that party on the 27th, we'll be talking about an Oilers team that's looking to keep some crazy win streak going again.
Spiced Oil, which I freaking love this
I
comment.
love him,
Thank you, Spiced Oil. You're the best. He said, Caroline, get Tyler a crystal necklace to tie up with the fit with the romper. Would you wear one? If I got you like a sick crystal necklace, would you wear it with the romper?
We'll talk.
That's not a no. So he's saying there's a chance. He's saying there's a chance, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to tune in, obviously, Edmonton Oilers against the Buffalo Sabres tonight. And, of course, somehow keep up with Canada soccer at the same time. Big, big energy here in Edmonton. And we'll see you on Sunday.
Shout out to Sherwood for the Giants.